And you mentioned yesterday some of the runs that you've given up in the last few games where you have a couple defensive mistakes and then trying kind of getting it all back on offense. Did it feel like that again there at the start of the fourth quarter?
Well, not really. I mean, we had, we just, we couldn't guard the ball. They were just in the paint. Every pick and roll, first three quarters, they were pretty good. And then they were just so much more direct in the fourth quarter, particularly White and DeRozan. So, we became, obviously, as you saw, we changed it, got more aggressive. But again, just controlling the ball was the biggest issue. I tell you, it's different now. Those guys we've been having problems because our principles were bad and stuff. Tonight, those guys are terrific offensive players, and they played well. So sometimes that happens too.
How much did Nick was in a little bit of foul?
Hurt us a lot, yeah, for sure.
Just when you see you guys were like here at halftime, third quarter, tie going to fourth quarter, you can't pull a game like this out.
Well, that's the NBA. I mean, you got to play. It's like when people try to do you beat Minnesota and lost to Detroit thing. Like, you don't. And I mean, not to be, but you don't understand the NBA. It's a 48-minute game. That's a long time. You got to have 9, 10 guys most nights that play well, and that's just the way it works. So that's not this, that, the other thing. You got to be able to make a lot of plays for a long period, and that's a challenge. So that's NBA basketball. It's nothing more than that.
You mentioned going in tonight, you were going to go smaller to try to spread out some of the scoring. And on Monday, you said you had lineups that just didn't work to try to get through. Did you maybe find something there?
I thought we were better. Like PJ played well again, obviously, and he gave us scoring off the bench. So that part was good. Frank didn't shoot well, but he played really well. When he was on the floor, I don't know what the plus minus was, but everything made a lot more sense. And defensively, he's so good, that we were able to keep them out of the paint more. So again, a lot of it is you got to watch the film and see. But I mean, look, we played hard, and those three guys were really good. Miles, PJ, and Brandon. So the biggest thing is in the fourth quarter, you got to be able to guard the ball. Got to be able to guard the ball. A team like them, when you put Vucevic out there, look, he's a basket creator for his teammates. I mean, he's a monster to guard, and he creates so much space and trouble, and that's where you got to be able to guard the ball. You're not going to be able to stop a guy like DeRozan or White one-on-one, but you can't get blown by on the first dribble, and that's what was happening there in the fourth.
Big teaching point going into Friday. Is that one of the main?
Yeah, well, I mean, to me, that's right now. There's one of the things much more important in the league than. Again, keeping the ball out of the paint, right? Like if you look at almost every team, Boston's different because they're just so talented. Everybody else, the ball's got to hit the paint. The numbers between a shot when the ball hits the paint, when it doesn't, is astronomically different. And so I'll tell them all the time, they'll tell you from day one, if you can't keep the ball in front of you for one dribble, you better be Steph Curry. And he does, by the way. No, I'm that's the misnomer again. No teams that don't defend well win big. Everybody, the Splash Brothers, I love watching them too. You know what they're great at? When every year they won it, been top 5 in defense. And so they've all, you can do it just by being great with technique. Now you're not going to be able to guard again White, DeRozan. The second dribble, they're going to be by almost everybody. But then you can help. And when you're just getting crushed, there's no help. And that's how Nick Richards gets in foul trouble, and they're right at the rim. The drop-offs to Vucevic. Although a lot of the drives in the fourth were him too. I mean, he's different. He's not Jokic or like that, but he's that next tier guy. I mean, he's a 2-time All-Star, and there's a reason for that.
Coach, when you look at the box score tonight, you guys actually shot over half of your shots from beyond the arc. When you see a number like that, what comes into your mind, whether it be settling for jumpers or what crosses?
I thought, early in the game, I thought we did. I thought, like Cody had a lot of good pick and roll possessions where he kicked the ball out, right? But again, I think it's, are they, what you want are spot up, not off the dribble, the spot up uncontested threes, right? And again, they're going to be a lot better if the ball hits the paint before you shoot them. That's it, and that's fact. There's only a few guys in our league, I think last year 7, that you want shooting the ball from 3 off the dribble. Melo's actually one of them. You know, people might say, well, he takes some bad shots. He makes them. Like for his career, he's one of the few guys in this league. People can say whatever they want. For him, I tell him in practice all the time, he's different. He's different. He's Steph, okay? But most guys, you don't want him shooting off the 3 outside the arc. It's not good.
Coach, 38 minutes for Brandon Miller, another 20-plus point game, and it seems like on a nightly basis he's kind of drawing the opposing defense's best player. You know, like they're putting him on Brandon Miller. If you just talk about his progression and game by game, kind of realizing the fact that he has the hardest defensive assignment on the opposing team, and he's able to still.
Oh, they are for sure now, yeah. And they double team him, you know, a lot too, you know. So for sure, he's getting a lot of attention, and you know, he's responding. I mean, he's playing well consistently.
Coach, I know it's really difficult, like losing many games as you are. What do you do say to the players to keep them up?
I don't lie to them. I mean, they'll tell you that. You can't look. One thing about the NBA player, if you want them to listen to you, got to tell them the truth. So I tell them, they know there's little room for error. I also tell them the facts. I mean, our problems aren't their effort, their work, how much they want to win. Our problem are we're under-talented, okay? And there's nothing wrong with telling them that, and that they do have to play well, and we have no room for error, and we can't make mistakes. And so we do, when we practice, we do have to have great reps, and there's got to be great carryover to the game. And to me, that's the way you do it. I can't do it any other way. Everybody has a different way to do it. To me, if you want an NBA player to listen to you, there's 2 things. One, you have to be able to help them win and get better, okay? They have confidence I can do that. Not that I'm smart. I just worked for great coaches, and I learned a lot. So I do know what it takes to win in the league. And 2, you can't lie to them. You can't lie to them. We can win Friday. We'll have to play great, and maybe they're not quite at their best. There's nothing wrong with that. That's the way this league works. But the only way you give yourself a chance is if you're prepared. And if we come in, we have a good day tomorrow, and we have a good shoot around on Friday. Otherwise, we're not going to. Listen, right now, if we're not pretty good, we're not beating anybody. We're not beating anybody. That's just where we're at. And that we can't control. What we can control is how hard we work and what our attitude and approach is like every game.